Look who's joined us. It's Mike Florio, the creator and editor-in-chief of Pro Football Talk. You can see his programs throughout the day on Peacock, which you can stream right here on the Roku portal. Mike, I will give you the floor on the two stories that are burning up the internet at present, starting with our colleagues at The Athletic on what they reported is happening within the Jets front offices. Are you hearing the same thing, that the Jets are making roster moves based on Madden ratings? Mike?
Well, that's a new one. Now, some of this stuff, it's funny, once it's out there,
Yes.
then you hear bits and pieces related to it, like this idea that the trade for Jerry Jeudy was nixed based upon his low Madden rating. I'm not sure the coaching staff was given that information based on some of the things I'm hearing. Like there may have been a firewall in the organization. Like we really can't tell them this is the reason, because there were people in the coaching staff that wanted Jerry Jeudy on the team, and to have it fall apart because his Madden rating wasn't high enough it's so ludicrous.
It is.
And I say this with one caveat. I don't want to get sued over this. And I think we're entering an era where people of power and money and influence are going to start suing people who say things they don't like. We've already seen it start. And so don't sue me. I didn't report this. But it's so ridiculous on its face. How can it not be true? Like, you couldn't make it up. It's so ridiculous that an owner would be influenced by Madden ratings to say, we better not trade for this guy. That is like, you think you've seen it all. You think the rubber band has been stretched as far as it can be stretched with the dysfunctional Jets, and they find a way to stretch it even farther.
So let's I guess spin it forward then, because if you are a prospective head coach, and obviously the Jets are one of the 32 in the NFL and have an opportunity to make somebody a head coach in the NFL, and that's very difficult to pass up. And, I even think, because the Bears are thrown out there as the most attractive job. The Jets have a high draft choice. They've got stud players all over the place. They've got a front office that's ready to be filled as well. Head coaches want to have that. That's why I was saying Belichick should even kick the tires on the Jets, even though, he kind of hates the organization. But so where does that leave the Jets as they're trying to find, where are the Jets right now trying to find people who will fill these roles? Mike?
This is horrible timing. I look at it this way, and every year there's a job or two like this, Rich, where if the final candidate that the team wants has any other option, that candidate should take the other job. Now, you're always going to find someone who will convince himself, hey, my ship has come in. This might be the only chance I have. I'm good enough to overcome the dysfunction, whatever it might be. I mean, Dave Canales took the job in Carolina last year that I don't think anybody wanted. But where else am I going to get a chance to be an NFL head coach? And let's see if we can make this work. So somebody will take it. But you think Ben Johnson is going to take that job? Do you think the top GM candidates, whoever they might end up being, are going to flock to be the Jets GM? And that's why I only say this somewhat jokingly about, one of these owners is eventually going to sue a media outlet, because this does do damage to the effort to try to find a GM and a coach, because it makes Woody Johnson look like an idiot. And do you want to work for an idiot if you think he is, fueled by this report from The Athletic? So it comes at a horrible time as Mike Tannenbaum with the 33rd team is trying to, serve up a menu of candidates for this job. You might want to turn around and run, or you're going to negotiate assurances in your contract that would insulate you from Woody Johnson or Brick and Jack, the new frickin' frack.
Oh boy.
Who, and here's the thing. One of them is eventually going to run the team unless Woody sells it. So get ready, Jets fans. You get another generation of potential incompetence, although I will give them a break. They're teenagers. Maybe they'll grow into competent executives who would know not to listen to a teenager when the time comes to make decisions.
Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk here on the Rich Eisen Show. You're reporting on what happened in Atlanta for them to turn the page to a rookie in Week 16. I mean, it's unprecedented what we're seeing, Mike. The way that Penix was drafted, and now the way that he's now elevated to the starter's role. I've never seen anything like this in the 22 plus I've been with NFL Network, Mike.
Well, and Rich, here's the key. Michael Penix doesn't have to hit his ceiling, whatever it might be, once he has the opportunity to be the starter wire to wire from the offseason program through training camp, et cetera. All he's got to be is a little bit better than Kirk Cousins for this to work. And Kirk Cousins has been so bad the last 5 games. 1 touchdown pass, 9 interceptions. We had a reel today on PFT Live of all of the interceptions, one after another. They were bad. I mean, this wasn't some Herculean effort by the defensive back to track the ball. These are all bad throws, bad decisions. And I think it's as simple as this. And I've talked to several different people about it just to make sure that I'm not barking up the wrong tree, as I often do. Mm-hmm. The Achilles tendon injury, the rehab process, when you look earlier in the season, there was so much effort from the rest of his body to muster the velocity on a throw. Arm, other leg, torso, core. You're not getting the same launch from your lower body on the side where you're not pushing off the way that you ordinarily would, that right side where the Achilles tendon popped. You get to a point where your body can only take so much of all of the extra force, the compensation, the overcompensation elsewhere to make up for the protection of the injured area. Yeah, I think it's that simple. And at some point after the win over the Cowboys, where he had 4 touchdown passes and no picks, and the Falcons were 6-3 and everything was looking great, Father Time caught up with him. Father Time fueled by this overcompensation for the Achilles tendon injury. And the difference between him and Aaron Rodgers with that same injury, he doesn't need to muster the power from his lower body. He can flick his wrist and throw it 40 yards. Cousins needs to harness the power from his toes all the way up to his fingertips to get the ball out. And when you take away his base, it's got to come from somewhere else. So it's gone. And the question now is, Rich, will it ever come back? That's to be determined.
You know, it's kind of crazy, Mike, if you had said to me leaving Detroit on draft weekend, okay, that your starting rookie quarterbacks this year would be the top 3. I'd be like, makes sense. That any of the next 3 of the first-round drafted quarterbacks, 2 of the 3 would start. I'd be like, okay, I got that. Spencer Rattler would get a start. I'd be, okay, now you've got me intrigued here. And then you'd say that McCarthy would be the one that doesn't get the start because of a knee injury. Obviously, I'd be crestfallen as a Michigan guy to hear that. But then hear the fact that of all of them to potentially not start the next year, it would be McCarthy because Sam Darnold has the Vikings at 12-2 entering week 16. I would then be, what are you talking about? But that is a distinct possibility now, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it is,
Mike.
It is.
Right?
Now, look, there aren't a lot of teams out there that are going to throw market value at Sam Darnold, if any. There's 5 or 6 teams that are going to be looking for starting quarterbacks, and I think other teams will look at Darnold's performance this year and ask themselves, how much of that is Kevin O'Connell, and can this year be duplicated in another city? Again, some coach, some GM, some owner will fool themselves into thinking they can do it, and they'll probably offer to overpay Sam Darnold when it's all said and done. A lot of it depends upon how far the Vikings go in the postseason. But you know, Rich, hey, even though Darnold has been there, done that with the Jets, I mean, Darnold's Madden rating 79 and Aaron Rodgers is 77.
Look at you.
Kirk Cousins is 78.
Look at you.
Geno Smith is 80.
Look at you.
Aaron, sorry. Aaron, we'd love to have you back, but that 77 doesn't get it done here.
Look at you. Look at you. But in all seriousness, though, I mean, the Giants and the Raiders are going to draft one. I mean, they're not. We all know that. Even if we're thinking that Shador or Cam Ward, anybody who says, well, I mean, are they first, second overall pick in the draft worthy? Well, yes, they are, based on their skill set in college and how the teams who are quarterback needy are drafting there. They don't want to draft there again. I don't know where, also the Jets, would Darnold even countenance going back there? I've been using that word a lot
I can't
lately.
imagine he would want to do that.
Right. Tennessee.
The Titans. Titans.
Right, where obviously Sam Darnold coming from the Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell world, Brian Callahan would be from that tree as well. That wouldn't be a That wouldn't be a bad spot there. But also the Vikings, do you think they're sitting there? Obviously they still have a lot of miles to go this year with Sam. Do you think that there will be a conversation when it is all said and done that they Jordan Love McCarthy or what? What do you think, Mike?
Well, I think the Vikings are likely to do the same thing they did with Kirk Cousins. And they may not even go as far as they did with Kirk Cousins. They had a number that they were willing to pay Kirk Cousins, and their attitude was, if you can get better out there elsewhere, go do it. It might be that they don't even negotiate with Darnold and say, look, thank you for everything you've done for us. It was a great year. We understand that you're likely going to get far more elsewhere than we can afford to pay you, given that we're planning to pivot to JJ McCarthy. But if you don't find what you're looking for, we'd be happy to consider a situation where you would compete with JJ McCarthy. And maybe Darnold goes out, you got to figure that out on your own. If you love something, set it free. He goes out and he figures out that, I don't want to go to the Jets. I really don't want to go to the Giants. Tennessee, okay, maybe, but they didn't offer me what I really want. I'll just go back to Minnesota and I'll compete with JJ McCarthy, and I'm confident that I'll still start and I'll get better and better and better and maybe pursue a championship. I don't know. I think the Vikings' only play, though, I think it would be stunning if they do a long-term commitment with something between 50 and 80% of full market value when they haven't even seen what JJ McCarthy can do. But a lot of it depends upon how this goes from here. I got a weird feeling they're going to end up with the number 1 seed as this scrum settles over the next few weeks. Whether or not that becomes a Super Bowl berth, TBD. But there's still 3 chapters left in the regular season book and then 3 or 4 in the postseason. But it might go so well this year that in order to placate the fan base, they have to scrap their plan and find a way to keep Darnold around.
I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, Kevin O'Connell told Darnold, make the decision tough, right? You go and make your opportunity like Baker did in Tampa, and look what he's done. Honestly, well-deserved kudos and flowers for everybody in Minnesota and the organization and the coaching staff and that quarterback room. It really has been something else. Before I let you go, tell me about your ebook. We were talking about it to our Roku audience. I now have my radio audience here as well. Father of Mine, your ebook, just in time for the holidays, is going to be what, Mike? What are you doing here?
It is available next Tuesday, the 24th of December, and Wednesday, the 25th, for the low price of free. You can get it at Amazon. The ebook only, not the actual book. The ebook will be free for 2 days only. It's a thank you to all the folks who spend more time than they should, especially while at work, checking out the things we offer at ProFootballTalk.com. We've been doing it 23 years. We've had many loyal viewers, readers over the years. So this is just a small gesture with an ulterior motive. I'm confident if you read Father of Mine, you'll be motivated to purchase Son of Mine. And if not, oh well. It doesn't cost me anything to give it away for free.
Good for you, man. Well done, Mike Florio. I appreciate the time here. Before I do let you go on with the rest of your Thursday, last time you were here, you were just opining. Why wouldn't a team looking for the next head coach for their team, as opposed to going into the free agent market or going ahead and giving somebody who's currently employed somewhere else an opportunity to rise from the coordinator position and be an HC for the first time? Why don't you just go ahead and offer draft choices for an established guy? And you threw out a couple names, including Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. Then Kyle was asked about it. And I think I heard Troy Aikman even throw that one out there on Monday Night Football. Look at you, Mike. Look at
well, it was
look
so
at
funny,
you.
Rich.
Look at you.
Well, and look, it's. I mean, this isn't any big discovery. We always see teams go back to the same 3 categories: coordinator who's never been a head coach before, fired former head coach, college coach, and this other avenue that rarely gets pursued: a guy who's currently coaching another team. Make a phone call and see what happens. And yeah, after we talk about it, the fire started. It kind of went out some when John Lynch, the GM of the 49ers, said it's rather comical to have that discussion, although it wouldn't be your call, John. It's it's another guy whose name starts with J that makes that decision, not you.
Yes.
And then when Kyle Shanahan reaffirmed his commitment to the 49ers, it went away. Troy Aikman revived it on Monday night. There's been some discussion. Yes, there has, Troy. Oh, yes, there has.
Yes, there has. There has been some discussion. I think the other J guy you're referring to wouldn't let that happen. I think the other J guy kind of likes the Kyle guy in question right here.
You never know. This guy almost traded Jim Harbaugh. After 3 straight NFC Championship appearances and a Super Bowl wedged in between them.
Yes.
He almost traded Jim Harbaugh to the Browns in early 2014. So you never know. Dysfunction knows no bounds, and reasonable minds cannot always predict with accuracy the behavior of the irrational. You make the call. Hey, and I feel more strongly about making the call to Miami. If the Bears are interested in Mike McDaniel, could be giving Stephen Ross a lifeline out of that extension that he possibly regrets giving him, because it feels like the Dolphins are bumping against a ceiling that they're not going to bust through anytime soon. So just spot the places where you think the coach might be available, make the phone call. The worst they can do is laugh at you and hang up.
That's Mike Florio with his 99 rating back here on the Rich Eisen Show. Thanks for the time, brother.
Thanks, pal. Happy holidays, everybody.
You got it. That's Mike Florio here on the Rich Eisen Show, giving us a little bit more food for thought going out the door. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.